This podcast is rated M.
Welcome to the M-Balm Effect. This is the M-Balm speaking. I have very special guests in studio with me, and I am honored to be able to do this episode. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Linda and Kayla Nordquist.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing.
Yeah,
We're doing.
yeah. You've journeyed a long way from Minnesota.
We have.
1,005 miles,
Oh my God.
15 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long drive. My wife and I went to Florida when like a couple months after we started dating, and we went to Florida. We drove all the way from here to there, and that was a drive, you know. So I know how they can be. They can be very grueling, but yours more so than mine would be, because this is an area that really isn't the kindest to you, I guess you could say, when it comes to the things that have transpired in the last
Right.
year. So, I mean, just taking the time to drive this way, I mean, how was that coming here? Was it kind of anxiety ridden, and
Not until we got to the state.
was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As soon as we seen the exit for Canandaigua.
I had anxiety the whole way up here. I kind of was emotional the whole way. Kind of held it together because my kids were in the car, but
Yeah.
I was pretty sad the whole way here.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially, you know, trying to hold it together. I mean, just being a parent myself, you know, you just want to be, you know, held together, just show them that you're strong, and that's completely fine, you know. It's understandable, but at the same time, I can only imagine just the things that were going through your minds and all that, just coming up here and then passing through notable places. And I did watch a video on your Facebook page going past where this unfortunately happened. Tell me a little bit about how that was, going past there for the first time.
I cried. I could feel the evilness on the property.
Yeah.
And today when we drove by and we actually pulled over and was yelling justice for Sam,
Mm.
and 3 people opened up their doors. So you can't tell me if we're on the street and they could hear us, that they couldn't hear Sam.
Yeah.
They just took a blind eye.
I
Didn't care.
I agree. I find it very difficult for nobody to hear anything going on in that place. You know, I've been there years ago as a delivery driver, and I've witnessed, you know, kind of what you were saying, the evil. I could just sense something not right. You know how you go somewhere and you know how it can be, going to a place and just you don't get a good feeling. That was one of them. I'm not saying that the people I was dealing with were bad or good or anything like that, but I did see children there, and I just did not feel like they should have been there.
Right.
So I just felt more so like, you know, I just thought to myself, what goes on behind those doors? And this is back in like 2018, 2019. So this was almost 10 years ago, going back that far.
I think that somebody caught wind of what happened in that room
Yeah.
because it's now vacant.
Is it?
Mhm.
Is it really? I know there was like Christmas lights and stuff like that.
You can see nothing. No
Wow.
curtains, no nothing.
That's crazy, because I think did you post up about it? I think you did.
I was just told today that a couple days ago someone drove by and somebody was coming out of that room with all their stuff.
Wow.
And when we drove by yesterday and today, there's nothing on the windows, nothing by the door. It definitely is vacant.
Good, honestly. You know, I really, I know I've said it multiple times on this show in the last year. I think that place should be held accountable, and I think that it shouldn't be in operation. I just don't think it should be running. I don't think it's suitable for anybody to live there.
One of the
Exactly.
comments said, so it's the building's fault. It's not the building's fault, but the building has evil entities in there, and it shouldn't be standing.
And the one that runs it as well.
Yeah. You know, I don't know too much about the owner. I do know that somebody had tried to go there and confront the owner and all that, and it wasn't per se that building. It was the other one that they own. It was at the Econo Lodge that's next door.
Yep.
They went there, and I don't know too much about that building in essence, but I do know that from Patty's Lodge, like, yeah, you're right. It is just a structure, but unfortunately, there's a lot of things that happened in that place even before this transpired. I'm sure that we don't know about. It's just not a good energy over there. And as somebody who believes in the paranormal, I don't know about you, but
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of that I, I don't know. I could only imagine what's in those rooms, and maybe, just maybe, something told that person, whoever was living there, maybe they shoot him out. You know, just told him to get out.
Yep.
You know, but it is interesting. I will say that, but unfortunately, with that place in particular, I know people were on there saying, well, it helps people get back up on their feet. Well, does it really though? Because as far as I'm concerned, it really doesn't.
No.
No.
Precious had been there for months,
Yeah.
even prior to this happening,
Yeah.
or before Sam even went there.
Yeah.
As far as to my knowledge, anyway.
The neighbor who was on your show called in and
Yeah.
said that he allegedly heard stuff that was typical domestic violence, which domestic violence is not typical.
No.
And it shouldn't happen. He's not back on his feet.
Nope.
Back in prison.
That's what I heard.
Mhm.
That's exactly the things that I've heard. And as far as I know, like, so during that conversation, I think we did ask him, why didn't you call? And I think at one point I even said, if you see something, hear something, say something. Like, how hard is that?
Mhm.
Exactly.
And what Rebecca's doing, in terms of, Sam's Law being a federal law, which would be amazing. And it's
Yep.
going to be amazing because if anyone's going to get it done, it's going to be Rebecca.
Exactly.
And-
I love her.
Yeah, we do too. And so, all it would have taken was that extra step of seeing Sam and verifying, hey, he's okay. But that didn't happen, unfortunately. And so, with that being said, I mean, like, with all that, I mean, just and you've seen it, people came out and actually heard what you were saying outside. That's right there telling.
Yes.
People heard it. They heard what was going on in there, and they chose not to do anything about it. Which, again, if you're out there and you hear something that's weird, doesn't sound right, call. You could save a life. Seriously, I mean, this is something that I always think about. Like, how do you not feel compelled to say something, to speak up?
Right. I mean, how would you feel if it was you? Would you, the situation was reversed?
Yeah.
You would want me to just do it?
Nope. No, that's just it. I don't think a lot of people put themselves into that perspective. I mean, and that's what this episode's going to be about, is bringing it back to reality, because this is real life. These are real people experiencing real experiences in life, and a lot of people get lost and in the whole internet drama that goes on, because I think we've all seen it. I mean, I've seen things on the group. I've seen things that people have said, out of pocket stuff, and I'm just like, what? Who actually in their right mind feels comfortable saying things like that to people who are grieving for a lost
Exactly.
family
Yep.
member? And I mean, just with all that, I mean, just how's that been for you, just online publicly?
It's been really hard.
Yeah.
I most of the time have thick skin and can deal with a lot of the comments, but some of them I have to say something. I have to stick up for myself, and I have to stick up for my mom. I have to stick up for Sam.
Yeah.
I don't go on there like Kayla does
Yeah.
because I know me and I have a mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't be nice.
Yeah.
And I just rather not say nothing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what they want. They want the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
They want the attention. But you're doing the right thing by not giving it to them.
Exactly.
I will say that.
I know the truth. They don't.
Yes. And we've seen it. There's people on there that just they come up with these weird theories, and it's just, I think they're trying to just get themselves attention in what they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, and if you've already debunked a lot of that stuff online, is, it's the opposite. It's not what's being said online. And it's just, people want to think they know everything, but they don't. And
Mhm.
it just, I would rather have the facts on the table and discuss that, because all this hearsay stuff, just, what's it doing for anybody?
Nothing.
It just stirs the pot.
There was a comment today that said, OMG, good home. If his home was so good, why did he leave? Or he wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
He didn't leave for any other reason but to come on vacation for 2 weeks
Yeah.
for his girlfriend.
Right.
He should have been coming home. She kept him here.
And also about us not checking in. Sam was 24 years old, a
Right.
grown adult.
Yeah.
And I was giving his space. He asked for it, and I gave it. But when I call multiple times and you're not answering, yes, I get concerned. Yes, I'm going to do welfare checks. My kids know me well enough where I don't give a fuck. And I will do it.
Yeah. I'm 35 years old. My mom will do the same thing. I always tell her, like, I get in contact with her every day. Like, if I go on a long drive for like a trip or something, I'm always letting her know, hey, look, we just made it here safe. We get home safe.
Since Sam, I was at work and I was trying to call Kayla and I couldn't get a hold of her and it took me all day. And I work at a group home as well. And
Yeah.
I was going to call in and leave and go look for her.
Yeah.
I was at home. I lost my phone
Oh,
in a laundry basket and I couldn't find it.
oh man.
But I started to panic
Yeah.
because I couldn't get a hold of Kayla.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want to do is have something else happen, and I know that's the first thing that comes on your mind is, oh shit, this is not good,
Exactly.
you know. And just I'm the same way with my wife and stuff, though. I always check in, and she checks in with me, and it's good to have that support system with families, you know. And a lot of people are like, well, that's just helicopter parenting, and it's like, no, it's not really though, because there's so much darkness in this world. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to be the last goodbye, the last I love you. And so you might as well be overprotective in that sense.
Exactly. And I know that this is about Sam and us,
Yes.
but with Rebecca and her tragedy of
I know.
losing Tim,
Yeah.
I mean, she talked to him an hour prior, shortly prior to the accident.
Yeah.
So, yeah, always check on.
Yeah. I when I found that out, I was just taken aback. I was like, really? Like, what are the chances of this happening after she's been doing so much work? And even through it all, she still pushes on, which who else would do that?
She's truly an amazing person.
She is. She's done a lot of good stuff. And I know that in this world, and I myself included, I get a little cynical just because of all the bad experiences I've had in life. And just, you always wonder what's going on behind the scenes. But she proves time and time again that there are good people out there, that people are actually out there helping others, even during the time that they need help. And she's somebody that needs help right now because of all the things she's got going on.
Right.
And to me, that shows that, not every person on this earth is bad. Like, there's a lot of us out there that want to help people and will continue to strive to help people. I know it's not much, but I do have a few things here for you. I figured I'd give these to you.
Thank
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Here's a few things. I have one shirt here. I have a couple stickers and cards. This is an extra large.
That would be me.
Okay, because unfortunately I didn't have another one in inventory. I was looking for it earlier and I just couldn't find it.
Thank you.
And this right here is yours for both of you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
you.
If you want to open that, you can open it. If you want to wait, that's fine.
Do you want us to open it now, or do you want us to wait?
We can open it.
It's the least we can do.
During this time, there will be hugs, there will be tears. There will be people who don't know what to say, and some who can still make you laugh. I can't talk today.
It's okay.
And there will be pictures and keepsakes, memories and stories, some you've never heard, and some you could never hear enough. There will be a sorrow, there will be celebration, but most of all, there will be love, the kind that never ends. With sympathy from all of us at the M-Balm Effect, you will always have our love and support. Your friend, M-Balm.
Mm-hmm.
Just hashtag Justice for Sam. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're very welcome. Absolutely.
And it's none of your damn business what we got.
Yeah, exactly. That's for them to know. That's for them to know. Yeah, it's the least we can do,
Yes, I don't.
And it's just this stuff we really feel passionate about, and we're always going to continue to feel passionate about it. Starting this podcast almost 7 years ago, I wasn't sure what direction it would go, but this is what it's really about. We can come on here, we can talk about bizarre stories and crack jokes and all that, but at the core end of it, if making a difference is going to be a part of that, that's the key part of this. If we can make a difference, that's what really matters.
Right, and that's exactly what Sam would want us to do.
Yes. Yeah, and just being inspired by the things that Rebecca's been doing too is just, pushing for all these different things is how many people do that, especially when it comes to talking to all these people that our lawmakers and all that, and trying to get the time with them. I'm sure that's almost nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's a long road
Yeah,
and a bumpy one.
yeah. I mean, you came up here and you talked to a few people. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of what you were coming up here for, right?
Yes. We spoke with the new team of
Mhm.
DAs. Just a meet and greet type of situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you got to visit the tree.
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome. I saw you
Twice.
twice.
And it's a beautiful tree.
It is. I went up there when they had the photos and all that still. It's an amazing spot. The location, the water, it's just peaceful, and you could just spend some good time up there, just right by the tree, by the water. It makes sense to have it where it is.
I know nobody's going to try and sell anything at the tree,
Yeah.
but I got a little sign that says no soliciting.
Well,
And I
good.
put it by the tree.
Hey, why not? You know,
Right.
That's a spot that shouldn't be used for anything else but
That was the point behind it.
yeah. You know, yeah. I wanted to come out. Was it Monday or Tuesday that you guys?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and I was in Henrietta for someone's retirement party, and by the time I had gotten out, I think it was like an hour after you guys left already. I was like, oh man, yeah, it was too late.
You should have called us. We would have went and
Yeah?
joined. Yeah.
I never want to impede, you know.
You never.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah, I just, I know that you have a lot going on, and the last thing I want to do is just, overstep any boundaries. So,
Oh, you're never
Okay.
doing that.
yeah. Now, I know that coming on here probably isn't the easiest thing either. And
No, but we've watched you enough where we feel comfortable.
good. Well, that's what I want. I want everyone to feel welcome, comfortable, because that's what this is about, I know that you've done like news interviews and all that, and this is going to be a different aspect. This is going to be more lax. You can be more yourself. This is where you just let loose, Just this is where I want you to feel comfortable. So, don't feel like you have to hold back any swear words. Like I saw you over there earlier. I was like, oh, don't
Well,
worry about
I
it.
know what you guys say on
Yeah.
on the radio or on the cast. So.
Oh God, if we were on the radio, we would have been canceled long ago.
Oh, I meant the broadcast.
Yeah.
Podcast.
I can't say that word.
In
The
New York,
podcast?
Yes.
No.
I call it a broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's a podcast?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I know podcasting's been along for a long time, longer than I've even done it, but it's just to see where it's gone now. I mean, I know we have like all these celebrities with their own podcasts and all that, and they get millions of followers and all that, but how many people are in the real world living real life? I mean, how many times do you want to sit there and listen to a podcast where the millionaire is talking about all these things and you're supposed to just feel like you relate to it? How do you relate to that?
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, dude, hey, we're all working hard, just trying to survive life. And, that's what I want to bring to the table is the reality of it. And that's, again, why this episode's happening. Because along with all the stuff that we see online, with all the internet drama, at the end of the day, Sam was a human being. And I think people get lost with all that stuff where that just doesn't really come to the forefront of their mind. So, I mean, just who was Sam to you as a person, as a human being before any of this happened?
Get my answers.
Yeah. No, nothing wrong with that. It's an open book.
Oh, Sam was my son. He was the late. He was my baby, the last born child. He was tortured and murdered last year in Canandaigua, upstate New York, at a motel. These answers are for the podcast. I was at the wrong part of it, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But Sam had a heart of gold, a jokester, always wanting to play a joke on me or anybody. He loved his job, goofy, sentimental.
Yeah.
Would do anything for anybody. I mean, shortly before we even came out here, we were at the gas station and we seen some homeless people that were on the sidewalk. And when we came out, they were there. So Sam went back in, bought a pizza, and handed it to them. And they didn't speak any English.
Yeah.
But we knew that they were saying thank you.
Yeah.
And so that was the type of person Sam was. If you needed it more than he did, he would give it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, key part of it right there is just knowing that Sam was out there doing stuff like that.
Yeah, my house is so empty and I feel so lost.
Yeah.
Where I don't even want to be home. Most of the time I'm not.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, I mean, everything is still the same.
Yeah.
In the bathroom, all his shower stuff are still in there.
Yeah.
Bedroom, everything's still the same.
And that's never going to change.
Nope.
You can't change
And when
that.
I do, I am going to move
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
You know, after trials, because we don't know how many there's going to be. It's a long road.
Right.
And so once that's said and done, I am planning on moving, and I'm taking my camera and I'm going around and taking a video and having Sam's room identical to the way it was.
Honestly, that's actually incredible. Like, I don't know how many people do that, but yeah, I think
Call
it'll
me
help
crazy,
you.
I don't care.
I think it'll help. It makes
Mhm.
you feel like he's still there.
Yep. I mean, even when we got the news and we were on our way here,
Yeah.
Sam was a shot glass collector. And so we were collecting shot glasses on our way here.
Wherever you go, you got
Wherever
to get
we
new
go.
ones.
Because we knew
Yeah.
that Sam flew here, so obviously he didn't go in Pennsylvania, and we had a layover in Michigan, so we got one from there. Just different places. And we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah. I mean, in essence, though, like, that's a shrine.
Yep.
That's someone's space, and it'll always be their space.
Yep.
know?
I mean, we both have, I haven't started mine yet. Kayla has.
Yeah.
But we have these big, thick 3-ring binders
Okay.
that any newspaper clippings, any statements that we may have gotten, anything.
Mhm.
We have everything. I have the death certificate, Sam's birth certificate, everything.
When he was featured in the magazine,
Yeah.
the newspaper, we had the whole newspaper article that came out.
Mhm.
It was mailed to us. I got
Wow.
one copy, and someone sent my mom 20 copies.
Really? Wow. Do you ever write notes and put them in the room?
No, I have not done that, but I do have a book.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca, for my book.
That's awesome.
But I have a book that is supposed to write down any of my thoughts. If I just think of something that reminds me of Sam, I'm supposed to write it down
Yeah.
in it. And so, been kind of, I haven't gotten to it. I know what I want to say, but I haven't really actually done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that helps.
Mhm.
You know, I think that communicating to someone who's no longer here does help. And it definitely helps you through the process.
I haven't done it so much now because it's been cold,
Yeah.
but Kayla and I go to the cemetery at least once a week. And for what if the weather's bad, then if we have to skip a week, we definitely go the following week.
Yeah.
In the summertime, I will go to the cemetery 3 and 4 times a week because I only live 15 minutes away
Yeah.
from where Sam's buried. And so I'll go and have lunch, and
That's a good way to
we
go.
hang out there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to go about it. I mean, you're visiting, so,
Yep.
you know, having lunch, you know, and being able to sit there and talk is definitely helpful in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, to me, it's like going somewhere like that. I know it can be, I guess, not, I wouldn't say depressing, but, you know, it is a reminder. But at the same time, it does help because, you know, that's where they're at.
Right.
And you're able to speak to them. And, you know, I would like to think that the afterlife, they can hear us, you know what I mean? And be able to see that we're visiting. And even if you're not there and you're still speaking to them anywhere, wherever you are in the world, you know, them being able to hear you is kind of, and I don't know. I mean, again, we go back to the paranormal stuff. I mean, little signs, anything like that. Have you had anything like that?
I have. Have you?
I lost my car key once. I searched my house everywhere.
Yeah.
I looked in the same spot probably 20 different times. Didn't see it. I happened to just walk by, wasn't looking for my key, and it was just right there.
Really?
Mhm.
But it wasn't there before.
But I wasn't there before.
Mm.
And my daughter, who just turned 8 in February, had told me that she had a dream about Sam, and that Sam was wearing all white, including his baseball hat.
Yeah.
He had it backwards, but he was in a park, and he was too far away, so she couldn't talk to him.
Really?
She's 8 years old.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because if you dream about somebody who's no longer here, it's kind of weird. I don't get them often, but when I do, you wake up thinking, did I just contact them? Did I just talk to them? But, you know, I think there's something to it. There has to be.
I was finding feathers.
Feathers?
Yep, always at work.
Is there any correlation to that by chance?
Not that I know of. And
No.
one of them was a pure white one.
Okay. It is kind of weird. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
was it Sam's favorite color, or was it
No,
just
well, white, gray, red, and black.
They do say when you find light feathers like that, it's usually a loved one that left it when you found it.
yeah?
My daughter's found, same daughter, 8 years old, found 2 blue jay feathers
Wow.
when she was on her way to school.
Yeah, there's got to be something to it. I mean, there's times where I'll see a cardinal, and you don't really see them often, but when you do, you're like, I wonder if that's somebody visiting.
Yeah, they say that they do.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've lost a lot of people in my life, obviously not in the same manner, but I've had people overdose and die, and you never get to say goodbye or anything like that. So there's a lot of unleft things said, and then you wonder, like, can they ever contact you in any way? Like, can you speak to them and can they answer you?
Right.
Like, it's stuff like that that really interests me. I've always been interested in that aspect of our existence just from a young age.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like to pick everyone's brain about that, because especially losing somebody so close like that.
Oh, Sam's been messing with my heat.
Yeah.
Yep. Sam always liked it hot. I like it colder.
Yeah.
My heat at home is usually set between 65 and 67.
Yeah.
And it's usually 75, 80.
Man, it's like Florida weather.
Yeah. Sam liked it hot. I liked it cold.
What's one memory that you would like people to know Sam for in his life?
Oh, God, that's so many.
There's a lot of memories.
There's
You
a
already
lot of
spoke about
them.
one. You already spoke about the homeless person.
Yeah, Sam was a traveler. Sam liked to travel.
Yeah.
And he would always, he would always call Kayla.
Yeah.
Call Mom. Tell her we want to come down. Or you want us to come down.
Yeah.
And I would be like, you tell Mom you want to come see me. No, she's going to get mad. No, she's not going to want to drive. You ask her. She'll say yes for you. I'm like, I'm the older. You're the baby. She'll say yes for you before me.
Yeah.
And close your ears. My favorite child was Sam.
You
So
heard
I
it here
closed my
first.
ears. I closed my eyes.
Close. It's kind of hard. She heard everything. I mean, these things just can't quiet them down.
I shouldn't do that because all three of them, they're my favorite in their own way.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
I wrote some of my answers out just so it could help me
Yeah, of course.
explain myself better.
Yeah.
One thing about Sam, he could make you laugh no matter what kind of day you were having. There are so many little moments just being together, joking around that meant everything. Those are the memories I hold on to, not just how his story ended. And I just miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, just understand that we're here to support you guys. And, I know this is a tough time. And coming on here and actually speaking freely, like, about everything you're going through, who Sam was, just having all these memories. But I think it's important. I think it's important for you, and I really do think it's important for everyone else that, has been following this whole thing. I also think it's important for people who are probably going through similar issues and situations where they can maybe see how you guys are going through things and maybe can feel a little bit more comfort in knowing that they're not alone. Because I just want you guys to know you're not alone. I just want you to know, feel free. I know you guys live in Minnesota, but always feel free to reach out if you need anything. Because even though we're over all this way from where you are, we're here.
We have had a lot of support from New York.
Yeah.
A lot.
And even since we've been here this week, we have gotten together at the tree. There was quite a few people there.
Yeah.
That was more with the news people, but
Yeah.
a few others that came. Monday night we met with Rebecca. She surprised us.
Yeah.
Because we thought she was going to be in Florida, but she surprised us. Tuesday was the tree. Yesterday, a whole bunch of people had gotten together, and we had what's that?
Bill Gray's.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You had some Bill Grays. I love Bill Grays.
I actually only had a bite because
Did you?
I'm not having one of those things.
She's stuck with what she's used to.
Yeah.
She had
I had a Philly.
Philly cheesesteak.
Nothing wrong with that.
I had a garbage plate.
What'd you get on it?
I got the mac
Mac salad,
Mac salad?
Yep.
the cheeseburger,
macaroni.
That was the mac salad.
I thought you had macaroni and cheese.
No, that was for the kids. This is the plate was the mac salad
Oh.
was the mac and
Oh, you had the potatoes.
potatoes.
Home fries or French fries? Or was it tater tots?
Oh no,
home
home
fries.
fries.
Was it home fries?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did put a little bit of the sauce on at a time. Just
The hot
in
meat
case-
sauce?
Yeah, in case
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I actually did. So then
Yeah.
I did do it with the meat sauce, the ketchup, the mustard, the
good.
onions. I liked it.
Yeah.
I would eat it again.
Yeah.
She thought it was edible.
Edible. Hey, it is called the garbage plate. It's usually good for hangovers if you have a
Yes,
hangover.
I was gonna say as I was eating, I was like, this would actually be really good if I
It-
was lit right now.
Yeah. Been there.
Yeah, see, and I'm not a weed smoker, but that's what it reminds me of. People go there, get high, and go and eat it.
I'm sure. Yeah. I
It
mean,
is definitely something my fiance would be down for.
Yeah?
Oh,
you
yeah.
think so? Next time you're out here, and if he comes out here, he's gonna try it, isn't
Oh
he?
yeah, I'm gonna have him try.
Yeah, you got to get
Yeah.
him into it. It is one of the most delicious things you can have. And you look at Rochester, and like, man, a lot of things aren't really known for Rochester except for like Kodak and maybe Xerox, but they're kind of gone now, right? But the garbage plate's like your key staple now. You come here and you have a garbage plate.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
I even ate my leftovers while it was cold. So that has to tell you something.
Yeah, I'm very particular with that stuff because like I'll take everything off, warm that stuff up, leave the mac salad like cold because I don't like warm mac salad. Just
That
doesn't.
was, yeah.
Yeah. And then you put it back on and then slop it up with all the
Yeah.
condiments and stuff
Sam
like that.
even would like it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I think Sam would have liked it too.
Yeah, it is, especially out when you're having fun, you're drinking, and then you're like, you know
Although-
what?
Sam would have asked for ranch because he probably would have put some ranch on there too.
Sam was a ranch eater.
Yeah?
Everything had ranch on it.
Even his
Everything.
mashed potatoes. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Bacon.
I've never really thought about ranch on there.
He would take bacon, cook the bacon, and then have a little dish of mayo
Yeah,
and dip it and eat it.
bacon.
Bacon.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting guy.
There's nothing wrong with. I mean, look, my wife likes ketchup and mayo together, and I'm like,
No, I do.
yeah,
And now you can buy it
the
together.
special sauce.
You can buy it already
I'm
mixed
like-
together like that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just mayo in general. It has to be a particular way for me to want it. Like I'm good with it like mixed in with like mac salad or anything like that or on a sub. I don't know about you guys. Like do you have good subs down in Minnesota?
Yes.
My-
Firehouse is my favorite.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one up here, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called DeBella's. DeBella's subs. Very good.
I have
And
to check that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're before you go, if you're gonna have a sub, that's the place to go. Try it out. You get a lot of sub. That I
Wow.
can tell you. I mean, if you get a pretty good large one, you could have good leftovers for a while. Maybe 2 to 3 times, depending on what size you get.
What?
So I might have to get one before we leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one in Webster in Baytown Plaza. It's usually the one we go to because it's the closest, but it's really good. If you like subs, it's the place to go. They have good oil, all that stuff.
I eat subs quite often.
Do you?
Check that out.
It's spectacular. I actually think that it's probably one of the best sub places you can go around here. There's a few of them that I like. There's one in Henrietta. I think they're called Amils. I don't know. I hope I'm not butchering that, but it's like Amiels. It's pretty decent. And then we have like I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of like these other ones like Jimmy John's and all that.
Oh, I can't stand Jimmy John's.
Yeah, that's not really a sub to me. That's like a sandwich.
Yes.
That's not the same.
Their bread's too hard.
Is
I don't
it?
I don't like their bread. It's
I
too
like
hard.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's is pretty good.
We got those up here recently. I think within the last few years, like the ones in Irondequoit. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Jimmy John's ones. I think I tried it once in Kansas City, and I just was not the biggest fan. I'm like, I've had better. But what's one place that you've been here that was surprising? I guess that you didn't really realize that it was here.
The museum.
Yep, we just came from the museum.
Strong Museum of
Yep.
Play.
Yep.
And
That place is amazing.
it
Yes.
really was amazing. We have a children's museum, and you blink and you walk through it. Like you really have to take your time
Really?
and go slow. Otherwise, you walk through it within an hour.
Yeah.
This was way better than our children's museum and maybe even our regular science museum.
Yeah.
But our Como Zoo is way better than your guys' Seneca Zoo.
And our zoo's free.
Is it?
It's free. It has rides at our zoo in the
What?
summer. That is,
Wow.
it's there all year round.
Yeah.
They're only open in this. They open at the Memorial Day.
Okay.
For the
And then
ride
they're open
part.
all summer. They have a botanical garden at our zoo. It's I don't know. Our zoo is just bigger,
Yeah.
better, and it's free.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Other than the rides, I mean,
Other
obviously
than
you
the
have to pay for
other
that.
than the
Yeah.
rides, but I mean,
But it's pretty reasonable.
yeah.
Did Sam like going there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam
Sam
was
was-
a zoo.
Seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would go to the Como Zoo a lot with his clients at work.
Really?
And a couple times I actually took my kids and met my mom and Sam out there with their clients.
Without even knowing they're there.
Yeah, without even knowing
That's
they
awesome.
were there. Just run into them.
Yeah.
And then we have the Minnesota Zoo that we've gone
Which
to
is
quite a
really-
few times.
Yeah.
Really good, yeah. That one's big.
The one in Buffalo is pretty nice. I would say that's probably larger than the one we have here. But, you know, I've been to the Seneca Zoo for I don't know how many times in my lifetime. But, yeah, I know they got a lot of reconstruction over there going on. But I like the Buffalo one the best just because it's a lot larger. There's more to it, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
The red panda's cool, though, in Seneca Park or Seneca Zoo. Do you have a red panda over there?
We
I don't
used
know.
to. We used to have a red panda. I think they switched it out for something else because I don't remember seeing it the last time we were there.
Yeah,
But now we have 2 polar bears
that's cool.
because they're trying to mate them.
Oh, really?
Because
Wow.
it's they're one of the last 2, or I think it was like a last male or something like that. But they're trying to mate them to have another baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, the Strong Museum of Play is one of my favorite places to go. I remember going there as a kid when we went there for like field trips and whatnot. I think the last time we went it was right before our son was born, actually. It was like a few years before that. And just as an adult, it's still an amazing place to go.
Mhm.
You know, I'm sure Sam would have loved it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Places like, it's got like retro video games and it's got all these like cool things that you can like interact
Yeah.
with, which is so cool. It's got that Sesame Street place.
Yeah.
That's always been like notable like for that.
Yeah,
Um,
I had to show Kayla. I said they had these masks from the superhero ones.
Yeah,
Anyway, I said that's what we used to wear for Halloween,
I know. The old school ones.
old school.
Yeah.
And then they said, what, 1930?
Oh my God.
I said your grandmother wasn't even alive then.
Oh man, yeah, I love this. I love the retro stuff. I love vintage mask. I love all that vintage stuff. I love Halloween too. Halloween's is one of my favorite
Mine
holidays.
too.
Is it?
Sam's.
I was gonna ask you. I thought I could see. I
Yep.
could see that. I just everything about it. You know, it just feels like home when Halloween happens. It just feels right. You know, I like summer, but I think I like fall just as much. You know, winter I'm not so crazy about. We had a rough winter here. I don't know about you guys down
Yeah,
there.
you guys get really super cold.
Yes,
We get a lot of snow.
a lot of snow. We got more snow this year than we've ever gotten in the last decade, I think. And just, you know, we live like right by Lake Ontario, so we get a pretty good amount of lake effect, which is terrible.
Yep.
It's awful. But, you know, the brutal cold is what makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
If it was at least 30s, I could deal with it more, but it's like it drops down to like the teens and you're just like, forget it. And then that wind chill.
Yeah, I was amazed when we got here on Saturday or Sunday. When did we get here? Saturday.
Yeah.
Was it? Anyway, I can't remember. The days is just blending together. Anyway, the closer we were getting, it's like, God, there's green.
Yeah.
The trees
Oh,
look like they're
we
budding. That
got-
was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we did get here Sunday because we got
Yeah,
to
it
the
was
hotel,
Sunday.
We freshened up, changed and stuff, and then it was my daughter's birthday Sunday,
Yeah.
and so we took her to an Italian restaurant. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it a local one?
Mm-hmm.
It's around here?
In
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Oh, not too familiar with Waterloo. I go there periodically every week, but I don't know I know there's a place called Connie's.
We had that.
We
for
had
lunch
that for
today.
lunch today.
How was that?
It was
That was
good.
good.
Was it? I always pass by it and I'm like, man,
You get a lap for your money.
do you?
Yes.
My wife told me that place burned down at one point and they had to rebuild it and all that. So it's amazing that they're still going.
Yeah, I had the bacon lettuce wrap, and I got French fries with it. I ate half of it. I have the other half for my midnight snack.
Yeah. You gotta have some midnight snacks in there,
Yep.
right?
Sure do.
Yeah.
That's about the time I ate my garbage plate.
Gotta have that garbage plate. Oh, it's so good. Everybody that's out there and you haven't been to the ROC, you gotta come here and get a plate because it is so good. What's something that Sam used to enjoy in Minnesota when it came to food? Like, is there something that's there that's like exclusive to Minnesota that we wouldn't get here?
Maybe. Sam had just started to like,
Seafood boils.
yes,
Really?
Yes.
and he was eating that 2 and 3 times.
He
a
got
week.
obsessed.
He had it in Florida for the first time back in June,
Yeah.
or June before he left, and so from then until he left, it was at 2-3 times a week,
Yeah.
and he was trying different places to see which one he liked the best.
I was actually supposed to make him seafood boil.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep going out. I'll make it for you. I know how to make it.
Homemade's always better, right? Let's be honest. It's always better. Any dish you have that's homemade that you can get anywhere else, you gotta get it homemade.
Yeah.
It's so much better. You get the full experience. Yeah, I just with all that, I mean, like with everything that's been going on for the last year, I mean, just what are your comfort foods and all that? I mean, has it been eating stuff like that where Sam was eating stuff?
We've
Like-
eaten hibachi several times this year.
Sam
and-
liked hibachi?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
normally hibachi, like for me and my family, was more Mother's Day. We'll go for a birthday.
Yeah.
We'll maybe go just periodically once every couple months.
Yeah.
But in the last year, we've gone quite a few times.
Mhm.
And actually, I spoke 2 weeks ago now at the Minnesota State Capitol, and one of my friends took us out to hibachi in Sam's honor after I spoke about him at the Capitol.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love hibachi. There's a couple places here that we'll go to. Do you typically get noodles with yours? Does it usually come with that or?
Ours usually does.
It usually does, but I usually give mine to Kayla or one of the kids. I don't care for them.
No? Yeah, there's a couple places here that we go to and out in Greece, and they do noodles there. Like there's a couple other ones around here that don't do the noodles. They just give you the rice and all that, but you got to have the full experience.
Yeah.
Give me the noodles. I want full on, just fill the plate. Let me pay for my money's worth. Let me eat my money's worth. Maybe some leftover. Usually doesn't happen with me, but I love that stuff. I mean, but yeah, it's nice to be able to go out with the family and just kind of forget everything when you go to places like that. You know, they're
Right.
cooking the food in front of you. You got the fire, all the cool little tricks they do.
Yep.
I mean, I know the children enjoy it. My son's always like, he's always looking at that stuff. When the fire comes, we weren't so sure how he was going to handle that, but, you know, it's just always nice to be able to get out and just leave your troubles behind. So, this your daughter?
This is my daughter.
Hi.
You're on camera.
You're on camera.
You're
Gonna
gonna be
get-
on Facebook.
Gonna get shy now. Uh-oh.
She has sparkles in her hair, so she wanted to have her hair out.
Yeah,
Normally, her hair is done. I promise.
it's okay.
To anybody watching later, I have her hair done normally.
Yeah.
She just likes her new hair that she got at the salon with her stencils.
Yeah, let her enjoy it, right? All the pretty colors and all that. Yeah, I just you know, our son's gonna be 3 in August, and just, you know, I know how it can get. It can get crazy sometimes. They can test your buttons, they can push you, they can do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's just I wouldn't have it any other way,
Right.
you know. With all that, I mean, just how's it been for them throughout this whole process?
You can
My
answer that.
My son takes it really hard.
Yeah.
He was just turning 10 when we found out about Sam.
Yeah.
He was 9 at the time. He's now 11, and he still takes it really hard. My 8-year-old daughter, Peyton, takes it really hard. She has a lot of hard nights, especially now that the holidays have came and gone, and now they know that Sam's not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, you know, I've seen like photos and videos that you've posted with Sam and with them, and it's just, it's heartbreaking, you know, and it brings me back to like, you know, just thinking about that day where I have to tell my son he has to open his eyes to the reality that could happen. Because, you know, at such a young age, they don't realize death. They don't understand it. They don't even know it exists yet. And just, it's heartbreaking to even have to think about breaking the news that someone's never going to walk through the door again. It's something I think about, and I know it's going to happen eventually. It's just, you know, I remember losing my grandmother at the age of 8, And I know it's a little different because, like, when you have somebody that's older, it's expected, like, they're not going to live forever. But as a child, that's your first thing about
Yep.
losing somebody, and the reality just sits in, like, that's it, And even to this day, it's 1999 was when that happened, and just, I always think to myself, like, how would things be if she got to live a little longer, and but just to break that news, I can only imagine just the heartbreak that has to go into that.
This one on my lap was only a year and a half old
Yeah.
when she found out about Sam. And she even talks about Sam a lot. And if I wear a shirt
Yeah.
or even if I'm on my phone strolling, is that Sammy? So she recognizes him immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she knows.
Oh, yeah. Let's just put it this way. Sam is not going to be lost in anyone's mind and memory.
No.
Not at all.
Matter of fact, it was the other day, Monday, Kayla had said, we are doing the tree and that the news is going to be there.
Yeah.
And somebody had left a comment saying, again, enough. It's been a year.
All I'm going to say to that is whoever that was, be lucky that this isn't your life. Like, this is a lifelong thing that happened. To you, it might just be a blurb on the news, but this is a lifelong thing that people are going through.
Exactly. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, thinks, or how they feel. I'm going to talk about Sam every day
Yeah.
that I want.
Look at this baby who lost her uncle.
Yeah.
She's only 3 years old, and she'll never get to have the experience of having him in her life.
Yeah.
So
And-
this is who they took Sam from.
Yeah.
This is one of the people they took Sam from.
Yeah. It's the whole thing's appalling. I talk a lot about the policies and all these things that we have in this state. And quite honestly, if you ask me, I think the state let you down. They let a lot of people down. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of loopholes for people to do things, horrible things, horrific things, and basically get away with it, and then just to go off to do other worse things.
Exactly.
It's something that I've always talked about on this show. I'll always keep talking about it because I want to see change. I know, like, Rebecca's doing that. She's making strides and doing stuff like that, and I want to see that happen. I remember back in 2012, there was a Christmas Eve massacre that happened where there's a guy who, killed his sister in their home, set fires to 7 houses, and then shot 2 firefighters from Webster,
Oh,
one
wow.
being a lieutenant of the police department, and then ended up killing himself. And this guy, his name is William Spangler. He was arrested in 1980, I believe. It was in the 80s. He had beat his grandmother with a hammer and threw her down the stairs because she refused to give him money. He wanted money for drugs. He was in prison until, I believe, 96 or 98 and was let out. And so all these years pass, and you hear people all the time, well, he must be rehabilitated or all. No, he wasn't. He was absolutely off his rocker because in 2012 he commits this horrific act. And that's the stuff that really just drives me nuts. Like, we need to, and I don't care what anyone says, we need to have stricter laws for people, especially violent people.
Right.
And it's just not happening here. We see, there's a guy who just got out, his name is Chad Campbell, when at the age of 14 in Wayne County here, not only beat, but sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl who was babysitting this child. I think he was not even a toddler, I don't think. He kills her and kills the kid. And here we are years later letting him out at the age of 40-something? Why? And that's just the stuff that drives me nuts, And I know a lot of the people that were involved in this had no business being out in society.
Hopefully, Miss P will see some of her fate because she got moved. She's in Monroe County.
Oh, really?
Got
So-
a notification on my phone today.
Oh, they notify you.
Mhm.
Really?
Oh, you can ask to be notified.
Yeah. Is there a specific reason, or is it just something that you
I
can't?
think it's because of they just needed the space,
Yeah.
and they always move people around because Thomas has been moved a couple times.
Yeah, I did see that. There was a whole, conspiracy theory. Oh, is he
Yeah.
getting out? I'm like,
he's
no.
not getting out. None of them are
No.
getting out. So wherever you're getting that little information,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
A lot of people online just like to spread rumors and shit, and I just shake my head at it. There's a lot of clout that people are chasing. I'm just like, dude, can we just get to the facts? Go to the basics. Get the facts right.
Right.
But a lot of people want to be know-it-alls when in reality they don't know shit.
Exactly.
And so, with that, just with her being moved around, I'm sure there's probably stuff circulating now. Like, oh, is she getting? Oh, no.
No.
Wasn't there like a conspiracy theory of a plea deal?
There was, but they're not getting that neither.
Why would they?
Exactly.
They shouldn't. There's no room for there to be a plea deal at all.
Yeah, my
know?
heart tells me they're not even gonna. I think that their lawyers are not even gonna ask for it.
Yeah.
Is what my gut tells me. Because for what?
Right.
You're not gonna get it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing, and like I know there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with it, especially with like the internet and all the rumors and all that. It definitely goes in hand with all the internet drama. And people forget that there's real life situations happening in the meantime. People are grieving. I'm sure there's a lot of extended family that are going through stuff, and people don't realize how many people are affected by this. And as somebody who hasn't met Sam once in my life, it affects me. It happened here in like basically the backyard. It's just, and then driving by there every week, because I drive by it every week, just knowing what occurred there, it bothers me.
I don't understand how come all these people, the 7, of how she can have so much control.
Yeah.
To have 7 people involved, and then not including, the people that were at the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
And Sam was clearly sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Why would you allow that?
I agree.
I wouldn't.
No.
And then the mother, which we were by fast track today, and we yelled out the window.
Yeah.
Arrest Shirley Morales. We sure were dead. Well, actually, kill her dead.
Yeah.
Yep. She deserves to be in there too.
Yeah, I think that there was obviously knowledge there of what was going on with people outside it.
I mean, there's no proof.
Yeah.
But as a mother, my instincts are telling me she participated.
Yeah.
Or at least was even there.
Right.
Watching or whatever. And if you were watching, that's even more sickening.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. Let's regroup. I know there's a lot of things happening with the children. So
sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. I would much rather, we can take a break, and then when we come back, we'll dive more into it. So hang tight. We'll be right back after this. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Please do us a favor and head on over to the YouTube channel if you're not there already, and hit that subscribe button and smash the bell. Why? Because that helps us grow, and it helps you get notified when we go live and upload new content like this episode that you're watching and listening to right now. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Welcome back to the M-Balm Effect. We're going to be diving more into some of the things that happened here in the Sam Nordquist case. I'm here with the Nordquist family. During the break, we discussed a few things, including some tattoos that you have, especially the one that you have in memory of Sam. Can you tell the story about that? Like, how did you go about that, and how did you present that to the artist?
I told her that if she didn't do a good job, I was going to have my mom saw my arm off. But I sent the artist like 5 or 6 pictures to work with so she could capture him right, and she nailed it.
She did a good job.
She did a good job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I cried the first time I seen it because she wouldn't let me look until she was done.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So the whole thing was a surprise to me when she was finished.
That's kind of what you want, though. You want to be able to see it first time reaction seeing this tattoo. I mean, I can imagine. I don't have any tattoos yet. I always say I'm going to get some. I've been saying that for like over a decade, but
They're addicting.
Yeah, I've always, that's what I've always heard. And I'm like, my whole problem is it needs to mean something. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's going to mean something to you, and it'll always mean something. It's not like something down the road, like, but that's what I always worry about. I'm like, I don't want to.
I have a few of those too.
Do you?
I have a few regrets.
Yeah.
The one down my neck, I got when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I regret that. I wouldn't have gotten it. It was just whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted to be tattooed.
Yeah.
And he did it for free. So, but definitely get what you want. Have it mean something, because I have regretful ones for sure.
That's what's up. Yeah, I know. It's going to happen. I mean, everybody's going to get something or do something that they regret, right? Especially those people that get those no regrets tattoos, and it's spelled no regrets. It's all fucked up. It's like, oh no. But yeah, I just I don't know. Something like that though is sentimental, and it means something. I know people get like tattoos of their pet paws when they pass away. I think that's something I would like to do for the cats that I have.
Oh yes.
You know, you've run into him.
Yes, he has very cute kitties.
Yeah, it's funny because like I've had the one. Her name is Midna. I've had her for 13 years in May. And the other one I've had since 2021, she always likes to torment the other cat. Like, obviously, the other one's older, so she's like, I don't want to be bothered. And then sometimes she'll play. But then it's like, okay, I'm done playing now.
I'll
So,
be right back.
oh, you're good. I heard that Sam had cats.
2. I still have them.
Yeah?
Pumpkin and Storm. And Storm, I think, knows because he will go up to Sam's door and start scratching it.
Yeah, yeah. I think, I think they're very intuitive to what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think they realize what's happening. And look, pets, they are family. They're not just like family. They are family. And so they grieve, and they do so in their own way. And that's probably the way that they're grieving is just, and it makes sense. I always, you always hear stories about like dogs that lay on the graves of their like loved ones, owners, and all that stuff. And, I know when my grandmother passed away, she had a Pomeranian. And the Pomeranian that she had didn't live too much long after that. And I'm pretty sure it's because of heartbreak. They were bonded, and I can imagine what those cats are going through during this whole thing. So, but it's like keeping a piece of Sam with you with those cats. So
It is.
So it's nice to be able to have that.
Yeah.
It is. Were cats something that he liked as an animal?
Any animal.
Any
Sam
animal?
Yes. Sam always wanted to have a ranch.
Yeah.
Wanted horses, cows, all sorts of animals.
Yeah.
I don't know who was going to take care of them because even with the cats, who got stuck taking care of them?
His heart was in the right place. I know sometimes we think about things like that. We don't really have a plan. We just want to do it. And,
Right.
And that's kind of where that happens. But I get it,
Yep.
But yeah, it's a huge undertaking to take care of all those animals. I can imagine.
Yeah. I did it. Still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Sam's ever cleaned out a litter box.
No? Yeah, it's not the most favorable part of having a cat.
Right.
I know that, but hey, it's worth it in the end though. Animals have always been just they're like your familiar, so to speak. They
Right.
follow you. They know when something's not right. They know when you're sick. They know when you're sad, and they comfort you, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they act more like dogs. I mean, I call their name and they come running.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just in totality, though, like with animals, I know that people like to get buried with their animals. I've heard of different things like that.
That's weird. I've never heard of that one.
No, you haven't?
No.
So, yeah, I mean, there was one, I don't know what story it was, and I think I covered this on the show at one point years ago, where this guy had literally had his will was to have his pet put down to be buried with him. And I think we talked about that on the show, and I thought that was crazy.
Wow.
Why would you want your pet to be put down because you die and then you want them buried with you? That's nuts. Why don't you just let them live the remaining years of their
Right.
life and then have them cremated or whatever? But yeah, just listen. I understand. I understand it. You want to be close with your pet even in the afterlife, but to have the pet put down, that was wild. But it's just something like that. I think is wild.
Each
but-
their own.
Yeah, 100%. But going back to everything that we talked about, like with Sam, just as a person, what's something that you would like for people to understand more about Sam that maybe they don't understand in this whole thing?
Sam was a human. He did not deserve what happened to him. He was a joy to be around, lovable, would do anything, cared so deeply for others that this should have never happened.
Do you
And
think-
I don't understand.
Do you think the media has portrayed Sam as a human being in a accurate light?
I would say for the most part,
Yeah.
they've done pretty good. I mean, we've made some corrections because there was some false things like dates.
Yeah.
And what happened, or that this was because Sam was transgender. No, it is not.
Yeah.
And just to put that out there, that because some of the rumors was, oh, Precious didn't know Sam was transgender. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Way before Sam even left to come out here.
As a matter of fact, that was kind of something that I was alluding to in the previous conversation before the break and all that. People just coming up with weird stories, and that was one of them. Like, oh, Precious did this because he was transgender,
No.
and I know you debunked that.
Yeah.
You did. You debunked that, and that's what just bothers me is that people don't know shit, but they're very quick to go online and speak all these different things all this misinformation, and
Exactly.
they don't know anything about it,
Nope.
and that just drives me nuts. It doesn't do anything for anybody. Actually, it just makes things more convoluted.
Yep.
You know, we're just trying to get the facts here, and we want to know, obviously all the stuff that happened. We want to have a good outcome here, which is obviously justice for Sam,
Exactly.
which is why
Yep.
we're going to keep saying that. But
We won't stop.
no, and nobody should. We're not going to. And the fact is you got all these people on there saying some crazy things like that, and at the end of the day, they just turn their phone off or turn their computer off, and they go back to their lives because it doesn't affect them like it affects you.
No. I mean, there was rumors that I kicked Sam out. That never happened. Never would have happened.
Right.
There was rumors that Sam was looking at Precious's daughter. That never happened. And if that, just say, I mean,
Yeah.
where do you get this stuff?
Yeah.
Because with Kyle and Patrick, they're pedophiles. We all know it.
Yes.
So if Sam was looking at your daughter supposedly, then why would you have two pedophiles participate?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I know and again, these are rumors, but I know there was rumors that Sam had found out something happened like that and was going to speak up about something like that, and that's why they did what they did and all that. And I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it just, again, a lot of people not knowing what the truth is, and they just want to keep spreading all this stuff. But I don't know where that one came from. That's crazy. I didn't hear about that one.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah, all these rumors that we had a huge fight and Sam wasn't coming back. That never happened. Yes, there was a disagreement, and
Yeah.
it had to do with Christmas about Sam coming home. That's it. And what family don't argue?
That's what I mean. Like, families argue. We have differences, To shed some light on some of my life right now, one of my sisters and I aren't talking right now because of something that transpired on Thanksgiving, But, we haven't talked since Thanksgiving. But does that mean that there's no love there? No. It just means we had a disagreement. When the time comes and we need to talk, then that'll happen. But
No.
families, that's just not how the real world works. Maybe some families out there do that stuff, and unfortunately that could happen. But, you're not going to kick Sam out because of something like that.
Sam and I were like two peas in a pod. We were always together. We worked for the same company.
Yeah.
We lived together. Sam didn't have his license, so I took him to work, dropped him off. Then I would go. We had the same shift, so then
Yeah.
I would go to work, and then when I got off, I go pick Sam up and then come home.
Yeah.
Like clockwork every day. We did that.
Yeah.
And then the weekends, we're shopping. We're hanging out with Kayla. We're hanging out with the nieces and the nephew. Driving around lakes. On a spare of the moment, what are we doing? I don't know. Well, I'm bored. Let's take a road trip. We've done that several times where we would drive to Milwaukee. We drove to Omaha.
Yeah.
We drove to St. Louis just on a whim.
With all the reporting and all that stuff, like, have reporters reported accurately, and is there anything that they do now that you would want them to change going forward?
I think that this last few months have been the most accurate
Yeah.
than they have been at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's because there's so much information, and I was getting both of us were getting bombarded with news people calling us. I'm on the phone with one, another one's calling me. Kayla's on the phone with one, and
Yeah.
another one. I mean, there's people. We were on the phone together at different times. If they weren't getting hold of me, they were calling her, or vice versa.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of people talking about this, and unfortunately, there's people out there that are disingenuous with what they do. And I know I brought this up when Rebecca was on with me.
Mm-hmm.
Shed some light on that a little bit, because I'm curious, like, how all that transpired and all that with, I think her name is, what was her name? Chardonnay?
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yes. She flipped on us because people were in her inbox, like Michelle, Julie, a couple others, saying that we weren't going to the Huntley hearings. And apparently there was someone who told her that I didn't like the LGBT community or whatever, and she made posts about us.
Yeah.
And
That we didn't support Sam.
that we didn't support Sam, and that basically we got all this money and didn't go to the Huntley hearings, which we weren't allowed to go into the courtrooms anyways.
Right.
And so they wanted us to waste thousands of dollars to sit outside of a courtroom with signs.
Yeah. What's the sense in doing that?
Exactly.
We were told from our advocate not to come.
Right.
So what, then I could get disorderly and end up in jail down here?
Right. It's not a good outcome.
Yeah, exactly. So she made some posts about us, and she ended up blocking me on all social media. I had her 2 Facebook accounts on Facebook. I had her on Instagram and TikTok. She's the one that blocked me
Yeah.
for all of that.
Did she interview at all at any
No,
point?
she did not.
No.
She did not.
We've only talked over the phone and through messages.
Yeah. See, and I'll be honest with you, like I've always wanted to extend the offer, and then when all that came to before you came over, I thought that was a perfect opportunity. But I didn't want to cross any boundaries. I know you're grieving, and I know this isn't always the easiest thing to do is come here in person, talk with somebody about all these things. And I get it. It's not
Well,
always comfortable.
To be honest, this is the most comfortable I've been through this whole thing of talking. Is to you.
I'm glad. And I try to make this inviting. I do. This is my aesthetic. I love lights. I love all the neon. I love all this stuff. But I would like to make it more welcoming for everybody that comes in. And that's just it. Like, that's why I asked. I was like, what drinks do you like? And she said Dr. Pepper. I'm like, well, of course. I want to make sure that everyone's comfortable. This is what it's about. Like, the human aspect of it is what it's all about. People get lost in all this stuff, and again, this is why I figured this was the best way to go about this, was to do this recorded. Because,
Sorry, I have to apologize.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to do this and be a mom at the same time.
listen, as a father, I understand.
For
So,
all of you who think I don't do my momly duties, I do.
no, Kayla's been,
even in the studio.
yep, Kayla's been doing everything possible for her kids here, and I can attest to this. Even on the break, that's why we stopped, so that way they can get situated. And, again, people will say the dumbest shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're not taking care of your kids. It's like, whatever. It's kind of nutsos. But these people that you don't even know you, and they're making up all these things. I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just, but bringing it back to the human aspect, though, I'm glad I'm actually completely honored to have you in here to talk about this stuff. Again, I know it's not always easy, and I'm glad to hear that this has been the most comforting for you. Because, I don't know what it's like to be interviewed by the news and all that. I can only imagine what that feels like.
I get tongue-tied, and I hate the sound of my voice.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not easy. You got people shoving microphones in your face, and they're trying to ask you all these crazy questions, and you can't really. You have to answer in a way that's not against like TV rules.
Right.
And I get that. Here, you don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
This is all 100% raw, real, and it's rated M. Only here on the M-Balm Effect. Yeah, it just look, I didn't know what, again, I didn't know where this podcast was going to go over the years, but I've realized that having a platform for real people to talk about real life situations like this, it's imperative, it's important. There's a lot of celebrities out there that have podcasts, and they have celebrities on as guests, and there's a lot of things that I've listened to over the years, and I'm like, I can't relate to that,
Yep.
But I like listening to things that are relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And sitting here talking with you about all of this and just picking, all of this together, putting it all together and picking pieces of it and just trying to get your aspect and experience of all this. And I'm hoping that somebody out there just, at least listens, and maybe they're going through it. What can they do? How can they cope?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's been the I guess most comforting thing that you've been doing that gets you through all of this?
I talk to Sam a lot, all the time, or I go into his room. It took me months before I would even go in there, and his room still smells like him.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to even go down that hallway.
Yeah.
But I guess to go to the cemetery, I get comfort.
Yeah.
And I'm a private person, so I don't show a whole lot of emotion in public.
Yeah.
I have, but not a whole lot. And so I feel more comfortable and relaxed in the comfort of my own home, and I have a good conversation with Sam and have the animals.
It's especially having the animals.
Yep.
You know, that definitely helps. I know
They
you
like to snuggle.
Do you still have this? Is Sam's phone line still open? Do you?
No, I mean, I know the number. And
Yeah.
I use it we have Caribou Coffee
Yeah.
in Minnesota, so for the rewards, it was under Sam's phone number, so I always use Sam's number.
Yeah.
But as for the phone service, no, we don't even know where the phone is.
Yeah.
I believe that they threw it, but I don't know that for sure.
Right.
And it was turned off because I turned it off. As soon as I found out that Sam was found,
Yeah.
I turned it off within a couple days of that.
I know some people that have kept the phone lines open just to kind of help them grieve in the process. But yeah, I
Sam
mean,
didn't have voicemail set up, so
No.
I would have never heard Sam's voice anyway.
yeah, yeah,
But I have a couple recordings from videos that has Sam's voice on it.
yeah. I did see. I know Kayla had posted a few of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, watching those videos, it does bring back the reality of it. You know, there was obviously someone living their life before all of this.
Yeah.
Before his life was tragically cut very short by 7 people and possibly more, depending on what happens. Because, you know, we don't know the aspects of all that. We just know that these 7 people were involved. And, you know, it's obviously up in question to who else knew about it, who else was involved, and who else kept their mouth shut during the whole thing when they knew something wrong was happening.
Yeah, I still don't understand. If you knew that this was happening and you said nothing, how would you feel if somebody was doing that to one of your loved ones
Yeah.
and somebody else didn't do anything for
Yeah.
you? Same concept.
100%. A lot of people don't want to put themselves in your shoes, and they should. At least have a little empathy. Our society has gotten away from having empathy, gotten away from having common sense, having reasoning. And unfortunately, with all that, social media has dumbed it down even more.
Yep.
You know, I know I've talked to plenty of people on this show. I had a guest in, a friend of mine. We talked about how social media is just, it's I hate using the word toxic, but that's the only thing I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. And, you know, we remember the beginning of like MySpace and Facebook. Stuff was supposed to bring us together. We're supposed to be more connected. I feel like
Right.
we're more disconnected now than we've ever been in the entirety of humankind.
100%.
You know? And I look at it like, you know, Facebook, the stuff that goes on in there. There's other social media apps like Reddit.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, you don't want to know anything about Reddit.
I barely know Facebook.
Yeah, you got Facebook, you got X, you got Reddit. It's just, you know, and to be honest with you, I read some of the stuff on there, and I just shake my head. You know, I look at it and I go, have we really come this far where we are so divided, disconnected, and just the lack of empathy? Like, if you ask me, I think we need less social media and more in the moment, like we
Right.
used to. You know,
Yep.
because, and I've said it on the show, like you see all this stuff on the internet, but you go out to like a gas station, people still hold the doors open.
Mhm.
There's still respect out there. It's not like it's hard to find. So why is it that we hide behind profile pictures of dogs and stuff and can say the most heinous shit to people, you know?
Right.
It's yeah, I look at it and I go, just get off the internet, go out in the real world, touch some grass. You know? It's really what people need to do. Look at the sky, do something simple.
Yeah, I mean, lately, the past few years, when you drive around, you very seldom ever see anybody outside anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, kids are on the tablets, parents are ignoring their kids. It's just nuts.
Oh, we were kids. We lived across the street from a park, and my brother was a hockey player.
Yeah.
And so they had the hockey rink, and then they had the figure skating rink. And so we go over there. My mom turned on the light. It was time for us to come home, eat dinner. We didn't even take our skates off. We had the little guards on them.
Yeah.
Come home like that. As soon as we got done eating, we went back out, and my mom turned on the yard light again when it was time for us to come home.
Yeah.
We were never in the house.
No, I know. That's the thing. Like, so in the 90s when I was growing up, there was, video games and all that, but we still went outside. We still played, we did all that stuff. And we enjoyed life. There was no tablets. There was none of that stuff. But, going back to Sam, I mean, how was he as a child? How was all that?
Sam was a sensitive person, private person. He spent a lot of time in his room, but also out and wanted to snuggle and cuddle and rub his head. My kids all like their head rubbed.
Yeah. I think a lot of children like that. They my son, before we put him to bed, he's always like snuggle. And my wife and I will lay with him for a couple minutes or whatever. But as soon as you get up, he wants you back in there.
Yep.
That's how my daughter is too.
Yeah.
And I had an easy birth with Sam. Matter of fact, we were just talking about this today that, I went into labor at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
4:45 in the morning. They checked me. I was at a 7. And a couple minutes later, I told the nurse, 'cause she was in the room, I said, call the doctor that it's time. She goes, oh, you got plenty of time. You're only at a 7. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I let out a scream. She turned and she caught Sam. Sam came flying out.
Really?
At 5 o'clock.
Wow.
So in 15 minutes, I went from a 7 to a 10.
Yeah.
And Sam came out. Easy pregnancy, other than I had premature labor.
Yeah.
Back in February. Sam's birthday's in June.
Okay.
He was born in June. So they had to give me medication to stop the delivery process.
Yeah.
But going as a kid, easy.
Easy going.
Peasy.
Yeah.
All my kids were easy peasy. It's when they got to be teenagers.
Oh, yeah, that's when everything gets fun.
Yeah.
Everything gets fun when you're a teenager, right?
Actually, my kids, I do say I've had 3 really good kids. Not too many problems.
Yeah.
None of them's been to jail. Well, maybe one.
I've been booked and released.
Oh, feel comfortable with it. You can put that back.
Oh,
That's okay.
hear
That's all good.
I've been shiznit.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, it's okay. It comes off if you wanted to. I mean.
I've been booked and released. But
Yeah.
that was when I was like 18 years old.
Yeah. So all that stuff's already gone, Yeah. I mean, look, we've all had our moments as teenagers. I think it's gonna happen from time to time, but it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll be back.
No, it's fine. Very vocal. Very vocal. Do you want to take another break?
Maybe a 5-10 minute break.
Yeah, let's take another break. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, no, you're fine. We'll get right back to it. So hang in there. We'll be right back after this. Hang on. All right. So this is our last segment of the episode. And before we wrap everything up, I want to dive into some things. Obviously, a lot has come out over the year after this had happened. And I want to talk about the video where Precious and Sam are together. And I want to kind of dial that back. Like, how did that all unfold? Where basically Precious was trying to make Sam admit that everything was fine. Like, how did that all come to be?
I demanded a picture of Sam to send me one. It took a couple hours. He eventually did send me one, but it just wasn't good enough. It was just a picture of him. He had his shirt off, and I could see like baseball hats in the background, but I was like, well, where's Precious at? I want to see her too. And then a few hours later, I got the video sent to my Snapchat account from Sam's Snapchat account.
But let's back up there for a minute because Sam was due home on the 12th at 11:30 p.m. And I had fallen asleep, and it was nothing for Sam to take a Lyft or an Uber home. So anyway, I had woken up in the middle of the night, and I said, "Are you here?" And no response. So I went into Sam's room, and Sam wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, I figured maybe there's a layover. whatever. So I wasn't worried yet. So I fell back asleep. The 13th, which was Sunday, I had gotten up, went into Sam's room, still no Sam. I'm calling the phone, no answer, kept on calling and texting, nothing. So then I did a welfare check that night. And the police went there, and they were both at the door. And Sam told the trooper that he was okay. So the trooper left and called me. Now, where the trooper went wrong, separate them.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So the detective told us when we got here, when Sam was missing, and we got the news, and we had to go into the office and talk to him, and they swabbed our mouths for DNA to compare whatever. Anyway, he told us that night, that first welfare check, that Precious was fired up. And so the next day, that Monday, that's when Kayla had said that I wanted to talk to you, whatever. I don't know what your conversation was, so you can elaborate more on
kinda
that.
messed it up just a little bit because when the trooper called you back, that's when he said Precious was fired up. And anyways, I started calling, texting Sam's phone hundreds of times. I don't have Precious's number, but I had her on Facebook, called her Facebook hundreds of times. And I never got a response back from Sam's Facebook, but Precious's Facebook. And that's where all the long messages coming in saying that Sam was a grown man and I should back off. He's on vacation. She was upset that me and my mom sent the cops to her house, she told me, so late at night that her landlord was going to kick them out. I was going to be the reason why her man and their kids get kicked out. I specifically this night told her that if she ever watched a true crime story, that she would understand and that I just wanted to talk to my brother because weird things happen.
Yeah.
And she brought up that she has a 21-year-old son who she doesn't keep tabs on 24/7. And I told her I didn't give a fuck about her son. I wanted to talk to my brother.
Yeah.
I told her that nothing better happened to my brother. And she just basically kept replying that he's a grown man. And then she blocked me.
Yeah.
But she also left me and my mom voice recordings screaming at us.
And saying it's all my fault, that I didn't care about Sam because Sam was doing all this drinking. Again, okay, you just told me that Sam's 24 years old.
Right.
Sam's at home.
Yeah.
It's not like he's out there in the bar and driving or whatever.
Right, right.
And so, whatever.
So she was manipulating
All
from
of us are trying
that
to.
day,
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
She was trying to manipulate us into thinking Sam wanted to be there and that he was happy and he was good and that he's grown. Which, yeah, he was. But his 24-year-old brain grown isn't the same as a 30-year-old brain grown.
Correct.
So that is quite an age gap.
Yeah.
So, yes, he is grown, but you're growner.
Yeah.
I want to say something real quick, and I'm going to make this very, very clear that Sam would have never came out here if he would have known that it was a motel.
Yeah.
Sam would have never came out here knowing it's in Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Sam was a city person. Sam would have never came out here knowing that he would be in this motel room all the time.
Yeah.
Eating cereal, which Sam never ate cereal. Sam didn't like cereal. But
Yeah.
every time I talked to Sam, what are you eating? Cereal. What are you eating? Ramen. So that's all you know how to eat? Very rarely did he have anything. I think that once they had pork chops or pork steak, and they had a pizza once,
And sausage, gravy, and like biscuits.
and they
Yeah,
went
he
out for
sent
Chinese
pictures.
once.
Yeah.
He sent me pictures of the pizza and biscuits and gravy, and I had, because I asked him if he was eating any food when he's on vacation. That's what you do on vacation.
Yeah.
So he sent me those. Well, that shit we can eat in Minnesota.
Right.
So I kind of was having weird feelings about his so-called 2-week vacation.
Yeah.
Because you're not just gonna eat pizza. You're not gonna eat baked biscuits and gravy. You're gonna go to Bill Gray's and have a garbage plate. You're gonna do
Yeah.
things out of your normal state, doing things.
Right.
Like you're gonna do vacation shit, and he wasn't doing that, so it automatically felt weird
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, and we thought that, or Mason, not Mason, excuse me, Sam thought that he was going to be closer to New York City and see the Statue of Liberty and all this other stuff, and said that Precious had a car and they're going to be driving and doing this and doing that. He gets here, nothing. She don't have a car.
Yeah. Yeah, because New York City's like it's seven, maybe 7.5 hours away from here, give or take. I could be wrong, but it's about that. Yeah. But so what was she saying? Was she saying that it was like close by and we
Yeah,
can just?
and that they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And
Oh wow.
just selling Sam a dream, basically.
Yeah. And I know, like when I had Des on, there's a lot of things that I've picked up on characteristic wise of Precious. Manipulation, obviously, first and foremost, and a lot of things that were told that weren't true. And it's just, obviously she was a seasoned vet at this. This was not her first rodeo. And so, yeah, I could totally understand where that would have come into play for sure.
Yep.
Which is wild. That's wild business. Just what she was doing in terms of like how she was luring people from TikTok to come here.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I have a theory because Sam had met somebody back in March that same year.
Yeah.
And it was with them, and they had a falling out. Matter of fact, Sam went with a coworker to Florida to see this person. Begged me for this person to come back home because she was trying to escape her baby daddy.
Yeah.
Well, I had said no. The day before, Sam even asked me, this guy comes to my house and asks for Sam. I'm sitting outside. I said, Sam's not here.
Yeah.
Well, do you know when he's coming back? No, I don't. Who are you? Oh, I'm a friend. No, you're not. I know all Sam's friends. And you're too grown to be Sam's friend. Anyway, he left, and he must have had an earpiece in and was talking, she said he wasn't here. He stalked me for 4 days because Sam came home on Tuesday with this girl after I had said, fine, she can, but she's got to be gone by July 7th because I was going back to work.
Right.
And I don't want her here. I don't know her.
Yeah.
Well, when they came pulling in that Tuesday, I was sitting outside again, and this guy comes running across the street and pulls this girl basically out of the car.
Yeah.
She ends up leaving with him. Well, they ended up breaking up officially the end of July. Sam meets Precious in August.
Yeah.
Come to find out, this girl, her ex was dating Precious at one time or somewhere. Somehow they all know each other. I think this girl from Florida set this whole thing up and said, oh, call Sam. Maybe not like with the physical part of it, but the manipulation part of it.
Yeah.
And getting money off of Sam. Because Sam left Minnesota with over $4,000. 4 days later, got paid and had another $1,300.
Yeah.
So Sam had money, which, it's not a whole lot of money, but it's not a lot neither. But it is to a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Or a drug user.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that came in. And I think that this girl told Precious, oh, call Sam. Sam will do anything for you. Sam will send you money. Sam will do this. Sam will do that. I think that's where it started.
So this did originate technically on TikTok then?
Yes.
So, I mean, because I was going to ask how they even crossed paths. I mean, with TikTok, you kind of have to either find somebody or stumble upon somebody just through scrolling at this point. Because, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how this whole thing transpired with Precious, because I know that's how she found Des too.
Yeah, I think that's where it started. Sam was in a vulnerable state because of being upset of breaking up with this girl, which her name is Emily Hudson from Florida. I think that's where it started from.
Yeah.
And they fed off of that.
Jeez. Yeah, there's a lot of things on TikTok that you see, but you don't realize what could be, I guess, the catalyst to something like this. You know, just being able to find somebody, manipulate them to come here, and then, have all the things that happened in the timeline from between September to February,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so yeah, we talked about that video. We also, I know that at one point there was that video that happened on New Year's Day. How did you catch wind of that? Like, who did somebody bring that to your attention?
It was on Facebook.
Oh, it was on Facebook
And
Live.
one of our friends went um, by piece, and was stop, play, and ended up seeing Sam sitting in the corner facing the wall.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's having a good old time. So all these people that are having a good old time don't say or do anything.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you go to someone's place for like a New Year's Day party or New Year's Eve, whatever, and you see this happen. You don't speak up. You don't say, "Hey, that doesn't seem right."
Exactly.
Why is that person sitting in the corner while everyone else is having a good time?
Right.
That's to me. That just anybody. I don't know who was all over there, but I can tell you, like, at least somebody should have at least thought, "Huh, that's strange." Why is somebody sitting in the corner and not saying anything throughout the whole night?
Precious's mother, Shirley, was there. Shirley is 3 months older than me. And she didn't do anything. You're a mother.
Yeah.
Obviously not a very good one.
Yeah, I think, and I just, so go based off of what I heard on those recordings when I was on with Des and hearing those recordings. That was kind of an eye opener of, okay, this is who she is. This is who Precious is when all the cameras are off, social media's off. This is her behind the scenes. She didn't know that recording was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone sent that recording to us about Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
Same tone, same verbiage, everything. It's an endless cycle. Precious didn't learn this just because. It was what she grew up with, which ultimately, this is who she is now because of her mother, all of those characteristics ingrained in her over the years. I'm sure there's a lot of abuse that happened.
And I think that it started even with Shirley's mother.
That's what I mean.
Because I've seen a picture of Precious Shirley and Shirley's mother.
Yeah.
And all of them, their eyes look black, evil.
Yeah, you look at it and you hear those recordings and it's very identical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the same vernacular. They're obviously saying some racial things in there, and especially with Shirley, when that whole thing was, so a listener had sent that into us. I guess this was a recording towards this person or maybe somebody they knew. But, I had to think about it. I'm like, am I going to put this on air? Because, look, I'm all about being, free speech, saying whatever, but I don't typically like hearing stuff like that and then bringing it on here. But I was like, well, we need to show who she is.
Right.
We need the world to see and listen to who she is. And then you can go back to that episode with Des, and then you can hear what Precious was saying in the same tone, the same everything. Just, you can tell that that's what she grew up with. And then on top of that, she not only does that, grows up with it, but then she instills that into her children,
Mm-hmm.
which is why Thomas and all them were involved.
Exactly.
Up until today, I felt that those kids deserved the same fate as the seven evil, except for the youngest, Hobby. I have a little bit more compassion after what I've learned today.
Yeah.
About him. I'm not going to go into details, but I think that if there's going to be any hope for him, there's a possibility. Let me backtrack. There's going to be a possibility where there's some hope that he can overcome this and be a good human, a law-abiding.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to take a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
Probably a lifetime.
I think Judith is a product of her mother. I don't think there's any hope for that little
Nope.
girl.
I agree.
How old is she now?
She's now 13.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, let's just understand that when you're 13. I remember being 13. I knew what was right and I knew what was wrong. But at some point, I think that they have to make the choice. How are they going to be? Who are they going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why
And-
we don't have sympathy for her.
Yeah, I just from the things that I've heard, and I know when that all came to light, where that news came out where the children were involved and they were involved in doing this whole, thing with the 7, and as a parent, I'm like, how do you even subject your children to something so horrific like that? Even just watching, even being in the same place. Now, the living conditions of that place was not stellar.
No.
Just hearing Dez's testimony from living with Precious and, the bathroom being the condition it was, and just, children shouldn't be in that place to begin with.
Exactly.
But now you're incorporating everything else into it. You're incorporating what you're doing to somebody. Not only that, but you're having them join in and forcing them to join in.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't understand how anybody could do that as a parent, but you have to ask the question for both children. What's that do to their mental? What's that going to do in terms of how they? Look what happened to Precious. I'm sure. Let's be honest. This is an endless cycle.
Yep.
Somebody's got to break it at some point. It wasn't her. Is it Javi? We'll see. But, I want to think positively, but being the cynic that I am, I don't know. I hope that they can find some, therapy that helps them through this, but it's a tough ask.
Yeah, obviously I hope that neither one of them reoffend.
Right.
But the apple usually doesn't fall far from the tree, and one of her kids is already in prison or in jail, waiting to go to prison for murder.
Yeah.
And you have a 12-year-old teenager, preteen at the time. I wouldn't be surprised if years down the road we all see her name in the headlines for a crime.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I wouldn't.
not,
I would hope not either, but
I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen.
Yeah.
If Precious is abused, like we all think, why would you still hang around your mother at the age that you are?
That's a good question. You hear a lot of people that are abused that stick around. Stockholm syndrome. And you wonder how, why, what's holding you back? She was her own person at that point, right? She's an adult. She can make those choices. She didn't have to live even near her, yet she still hung around.
Yeah.
Which we don't know for sure, but it's kind of obvious. Abuse was happening. That's how she turned out to be the way she is. But, ultimately, you got to ask yourself, when's the cycle break? Because, like you said, it must have started obviously before Shirley. Had to have. This didn't just happen overnight.
Nope.
Shirley didn't just grow up and say, I'm gonna start being like this. Same with Precious. But I remember watching. It was a news clip years ago, and I remember seeing it was from I think 2019, maybe even 2017. I don't know. But Precious was being interviewed by the news.
Oh, I seen that.
You seen that?
I have it saved on my Facebook reels.
It's so nuts. Just watching that and seeing the contrast between then and now. But to know, even during that, she was the same person.
Yep.
But she portrayed herself to be something completely different. Little do you know what happens behind closed doors.
Yep, she wants that 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And, she was a TikToker and making all these dance videos, or whatever she calls herself doing. Oh, can't do that anymore.
No. Eventually the mask comes off.
Yep.
I was a Schwann's guy for years, and there was a guy who I would go to, his family, his wife they were generous people. They would tip nicely. Christmas time, they would generous tip. I got to know the family a little bit. And, every 2 weeks I'd go there. Always nice people, especially the wife. Very nice. Well, one night, I forget how I found out. I think it was on Facebook. I saw this clip about a pediatrician being arrested because they found USB drives full of CP. Tons of it. And they walk this guy out, and it's the fucking husband. Oh, wow. And I'm thinking to myself, I've gone there for a year or two, and not once would I have even known, because you don't know what happens behind closed doors. And I always got cynical, even more so in that. I'm like, who am I going to? And do I want to enter their house? So all this stuff comes out. I guess the daughter had committed suicide, and all this other shit. And from what I understand, he was telling parents, I guess, I don't know, I think he was giving them money. Hey, I need to take your kid back here and take some photos, for like medical reasons. He would give up all these bullshit things.
Oh,
and
wow.
and he had thousands, maybe even more. It was a disgusting amount of CP that he had on these drives. And I went there after the fact, and obviously he wasn't there anymore. But I never once brought it up because, let's be honest, it's not easy to be somebody a part of that, not willingly, because the wife didn't have anything to do with it. But I think she knew that everyone in the town knew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of obvious when it's all over the news. But she moved out west, and their son, I think, took his children and all that. But you just don't know who's who and what's what until it finally happens. And I think this happened to her. I'm sure for years she got away with all this stuff. I mean, all this abuse with dogs, even.
Yes.
How do you get away with that, even?
Actually, I, again, was looking into Precious off and on for months. The whole time Sam was gone, I was looking into Precious. And I did a background check on her, and I found out about her having her dog, Princess, in the dog kennel way months before.
Yeah.
Like, before any of this happened, I already knew that. And I told Sam through a message, and it was like, is that the kind of person you want to be with?
Yeah.
Because Sam wanted, allegedly, don't know if it was Sam, it was just coming from the phone, saying that he was going to come back and get his cat.
Yeah.
You're not taking the cat to a bitch who's going to keep her dog in a kennel for weeks with no food and water in his feces, or in her feces.
Yeah.
But I already knew that and brought it to Sam's attention. But that was in November. I don't even know if Sam ever seen that type message.
Right. You have to ask yourself, did that message even get across? Because you don't know who's talking.
Yep.
Could be anybody.
Yep.
And, I remember hearing that, and then I remember Des saying something about a locked up freezer.
Yeah.
Nope. We've heard about that too.
What? I mean, that's still a question I have today. What was going on with that?
Do you want to know my thoughts on the fridge?
I do.
I think that because I know that Precious gave birth, had a stillborn baby. I think that, well, there's two scenarios. Either she had the stillborn baby, she took it from the hospital, and that's what was in the refrigerator. But I also heard that she had a baby died of like SIDS. I think that she killed the baby because apparently no one ever knows where the baby went, like where the baby's buried.
Right.
But I think she had either the baby that died of SIDS or the baby that died stillborn in that refrigerator. Because why would that refrigerator be so taped up, barricaded, and you want nobody to go by it? And if they did, you freaked.
That's what I mean. She
Why-
was very protective of this.
Why else, unless you had something that was a part of you
Yeah.
in there?
That's very plausible. I mean, obviously it's all speculation, but
Yeah.
it's more plausible. I know people were saying, well, maybe she killed before and was hiding someone's body. I was like, I don't know. Who knows?
I wouldn't put it past her because, I mean, she's been known to rent U-Hauls and go state to state and different
How
stuff.
many serial killers?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer had body parts in his refrigerator.
That's what I mean.
So it's, it could have been, she could have cut someone up and had him in there for all I know.
That's what I mean.
I really do feel like it's one of the children of hers. But it could be, she could have killed someone and hacked him up and put him in there for all we know.
Yeah.
But something was in there that what else would you have in a fridge that you didn't want anybody to see?
Yeah, she definitely didn't want anyone to touch it. And I remember Des talking about the U-Haul thing. Wasn't she known as the U-Haul queen or some shit?
Yes.
I think that's what she said.
Because they were stealing U-Hauls.
Yeah, they were doing some weird, wacky shit with it. Like, that was wild business,
Mm-hmm.
whatever she was doing. And just hearing that stuff, I'm like, it really begs the question, like, how far did she go? What did she do? And again, like that rumor coming up with that locked up fridge, did she kill before?
Exactly.
It makes you wonder.
Mhm.
Because we've heard it before. Like, there's always crimes where, like, oh, this is somebody's first time. And it's like, no, it's not. And they admit something. And then, there was a girl that was murdered here years ago, back in the 90s. Her name was Kaylee Polton. I actually worked at the building they found her body in when I was doing security in the boiler room. But come to find out, when he was getting arrested and all that stuff for that, I guess it came out that he had killed before in the 80s. He had murdered an old lady in a park. I think it was Ellison Park or something like that, if I remember correctly. But, it doesn't surprise you that that stuff comes out over time. It really doesn't surprise you that, yeah, this person really was all about this the whole time, and they portrayed themselves to be somebody. Obviously, it's like Dexter.
Yeah, like I'll go back to Jeffrey Dahmer because that's one of the main serial killers that I followed. I watched all his documentaries and all that.
The series.
Yep.
Yeah,
all of it. But I've actually watched the actual documentaries, all of them.
Yeah.
And killed first person when he was only 19 years old, but then didn't kill again for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, and then killed one person 5 years after, then didn't kill for another 3 years. So you don't have to kill, not that you have to kill, I was going somewhere with that.
Yeah.
But where, like you said, she could have been doing anything in those U-Hauls.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been 5-10 years ago. It was not, I don't think Sam was her first.
No, it seems like there was some comfortability with all of this. Like, this is almost like not her first rodeo.
And the fact that, yeah, they say that the 12-year-old was everyone says she's so scared of Precious. But she had her own cell phone.
Yeah.
She is on her own cell phone in the New Year's Eve videos. She called her own friend from her own Snapchat account on her own phone.
Yeah.
So that tells me Precious was comfortable enough to do what she was doing and know that her daughter's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Because she had her own phone. If I was doing what Precious was doing, I'm not going to let my kids have a phone.
No.
So you were comfortable enough doing what you were doing and knowing your daughter's not going to tell on you.
Yeah.
That to me also kind of says that the 12-year-old's part of, she has psychopathic traits.
Yeah.
She didn't seem scared in that New Year's Eve video.
Yeah, she's laughing and she's literally smiling in that New Year's video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she was so scared, she had her own cell phone. Why didn't you call 911? Everyone knows how to call 911.
Yeah.
You could call 911, put the phone on the floor, let them hear.
Yeah.
You could call 911, hang up, and the police are going to come to your door.
Yeah. They'll go right
but
to your
she
location.
didn't do any of that. So,
No.
but Precious was comfortable enough to do what she was doing and know that her daughter's not going to say. Because why else would you let her have a cell phone?
Yeah, exactly.
An iPhone at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really peculiar how all that happened,
Even with Shirley, say she didn't have anything to do with it. I feel
Bullshit.
yeah, I call it bullshit too, but just say by chance, why would you want to stay in the same town or even the next town over? Why?
Right.
Not me, knowing that everybody knows what's going on and that your daughter and your grandson are part of a murder.
Yeah.
I would have been gone.
Yeah, you'd leave. Get the hell up out of there. Like, why would you stick around? You wouldn't.
Exactly.
So just so many different things. I know the whole thing gets convoluted with all the stuff that comes out, but at the end of the day, though, we know that these people are involved. There's possibly more, which I think we know the answer to that.
Yep.
But as all this happens, the trials start in September. I think we'll start seeing this stuff seep out more and more.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
the truth always comes out one way or another, and whether she likes it or not, it is what it is. And one way or another, I think there will be justice for Sam.
Oh yeah, one way or the other.
Yep.
Just know that there's a lot of people behind you. You have Rebecca doing what she's doing. We're going to cover that as the updates come. I mean, I know you're going to be in town and all that stuff, so possibly we can get together again.
Yes.
And
we would like that.
I would always be willing to do this over a Zoom like what you did with Rebecca as well.
yeah, 100%. Whatever you want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever's more comfortable for you.
We could always do one closer to trial,
Yeah,
but in our homes, and then we'd always come into studio when we're here.
yeah, because I know you live in Minnesota, so it's not like it's an easy drive over
Yeah.
here where it's like
Can't come into the studio every time.
no.
I'll jump on a Zoom with you.
Yeah, we can definitely make it work, but yeah, I just, and that's just it. Like, with all that happening, I know that this will be probably a good outlet for you, especially with all that happening and, a lot of people not knowing how they can handle things. And look, again, you're not alone in this. You ever need anything, just reach out. and I'm sure Rebecca would tell you the same thing. So, I just, with all that, I mean, what do you anticipate here in the coming months, and do you feel good about everything going forward?
I feel pretty good about the DA team. I think they're going to work extremely hard for Sam. And I know they're working to not let anything slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
That they want justice just as much as we all want justice for Sam. So I have faith that they're going to do their job, do it correctly. I know people are impatient. They should have been in prison last year.
Yeah.
But this way, the slower is almost better. We want justice right now. Last year, Sam should actually still be here. But the longer it takes, the more they're getting, so they can't let anybody slip.
Yeah.
They're working for the maximum, and you can't get the maximum unless you do the work to get the maximum. And that's what they're doing. They're doing the work to get the maximum sentence possible.
Yeah, you want to get all your ducks in a row.
Right. And they have to realize that there's 7 defendants, and it takes time for each and every one. I've seen plenty of murder cases, or any case, that can take a few years.
I befriended someone in a siblings grieving group, and she just finally, 6 years later, got justice for her sister. One of the 2 defendants was sentenced to originally death, but because he was a cocky little shit and he couldn't wait to die, they took that off the table and he got life instead.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But that happened right after COVID. So 6 years, and it was 2 defendants, 1 victim.
Wow.
But they dismembered her and tried to strangle her, and she wouldn't die, so they poisoned her.
Yeah, and it always not surprises me, but it does surprise you though that a lot of people are like, well, it's death penalty and all that stuff. It's inhumane. It's like, yeah, but do you realize that they were not humane to the people that
Exactly.
they did the stuff that they did to?
What they did to Sam was unhumane.
Yes.
Inhumane. I might have pronounced that wrong.
Inhumane. Yeah, you're good.
I go back and forth with the death penalty.
Yeah.
Because I want them to suffer.
Right.
The longer they're in prison, the longer they will suffer.
Yeah.
And the death penalty, yes, you're on death row. You have your own little cell. And you can be on death row for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it's a very long process.
So maybe, just by saying death row, get a little bit of satisfaction. But Precious is 38 years old, going to be 39 in May.
Yeah.
How many years does she actually have?
But if she was on death row and put into a cell all by her lonesome for years,
she'll go nuts.
She will go insane.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody who's on TikTok and social media as much as she was, that she needed that.
She would probably off herself if she was put on death row.
Yeah.
Because I could just see her doing that, not being able to be social.
Yeah.
Because you're locked in a cell by yourself. So for her not being able to be social with people, I think she would off herself before she ever made it to death row anyways.
And that alone would just drive her nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know where all the prisons for the women are in this state, but I would like to see them spread out so far that their family can't even go see them.
There's one in Albion, I can tell you that.
Shirley shouldn't get the right to go visit her
That's
daughter
where I'm
or
getting to.
grandson.
Yeah.
I want them far enough away where it's going to be almost impossible for family to go visit them.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. You can't visit Sam.
Exactly.
Yep.
You can visit the grave, but you can't visit Sam. They shouldn't have the right to be able to visit any other family.
We get no more birthdays, no more holidays.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think fair is fair, honestly.
Yep.
Why should they get that luxury?
Just like, right now they're in jail. They have tablets. Why?
Right.
You took Sam's phone away from him.
Yeah.
He couldn't use his phone.
That's another thing that's insane to me is they get tablets, they get phones, they get all this crazy stuff that wouldn't you think that you wouldn't want them to have that?
Exactly.
You did something. You're supposed to be there for punishment. This isn't just a fucking country club.
Oh, they say
right.
They have rights. You didn't think about Sam's rights.
Well, that's what I mean. That's
Any
what I was,
criminal.
Yeah.
Like all these I've seen inmates on TikTok
Yeah.
in their jail cells.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Showing you their like see-through TVs and shit.
Yeah, you
I've seen that.
committed a fucking crime.
Yeah.
Like, you probably took someone's life. You probably raped someone's daughter, sister, whoever, to be where you are.
Yeah.
Why do you get to be associated with the outside world?
Right.
It drives me nuts. It literally drives me nuts.
Yeah. The one thing I know that I want to see, obviously, I want to see Rebecca do, everything in her power to get Sam's Law into place. But I want to open the dialogue to say we really need some real reform with our justice system. We need to make it so that way it's not easy for criminals, especially violent ones, to be able to just get out and then wait years down the road to do another horrific, if not worse, crime than they already committed, which this already proves that it happens.
Yep.
We've discussed another matter that happened earlier, and it's just, when's enough enough? Does it have to go to a point where somebody who's in office right now that has control over this, does it have to affect them personally for them to make the decision? It shouldn't.
Exactly.
They should be understanding and say, look, enough's enough. Let's change this. That's a lot of the things that I'm critical on when it comes to politicians and all that. Like, we need to start fixing the stuff that's happening now so that way this shit doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, because if Precious was ever arrested for all the shit that I found out that she did,
Yeah,
Sam wouldn't even have met her.
exactly.
She would have been locked up,
Yeah.
and Sam wouldn't even have known who Precious was, and he would still be here today.
That's, I think, what really gets to me the most is the fact that it was made possible. There was things to prevent it from happening, but those things never happened. So she had the chance to do this along with the other six. I mean, look at, like, I always bring it up: Patrick Goodwin, Kyle Sage. What were they doing out in society? It just, we know what they did,
Yep.
especially Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just flabbergasted that they're even out to be able to see the light of day again, and to be given the chance to live their life, but yet take someone else's.
Yeah, I actually seen a news article on Patrick from when he went to court, and I think it was his lawyer at the time. This is from when he sexually assaulted his brother and sister, that basically he was rehabilitated and he was doing good in jail and he was taking college classes. That does not make him not a pedophile. He's still a pedophile.
Right.
Rather, he's going to college, doing college classes. He still likes little kids.
Yeah,
And that's never going to change.
that doesn't change anything if he's going to college and doing all these things.
You cannot rape a child and be rehabilitated. You cannot murder someone, a child, an adult, your mother, your grandmother, father, your next door neighbor, someone walking down the street, and be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
I might be pronouncing that wrong, but
It's okay.
everyone knows what I'm saying.
Rehabilitate, yeah.
You can't take a life and then be fixed after that.
No, it's, and not only that, but let's be honest, the prison system isn't too kind to anybody. Because even if somebody were to go there for a bullshit, bogus crime that they didn't commit, and they were in there for God knows how long,
Mm-hmm.
if they weren't bad before they got in there, I'm sure the prison itself is going to change them to be a worse person, a horrible person.
Exactly.
All the shit that you hear about what happens inside these prisons, and it's just like, it's downright just disgusting. So, I mean, somebody going to prison as a bad person, they're going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how it is.
DSS had emailed me back in December. I can't think of the exact date offhand.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it right away. But when I did see it, it said what her name was, said, I'm working with your son. Can you please call me? So I called. And she told me that Sam wanted to come home, that he was homesick, and that Precious wouldn't let him have his phone. And he knew my email address.
Yeah.
He didn't know my phone number by heart because we all have phones.
Right.
And everything's programmed that way. So anyway, she told me that they were going to come up with an escape plan and that Sam was to return. Sam never showed up. And because I had called to find out, did Sam ever come? She said no. Okay, well, are you going to follow up? Oh, we don't do that. Excuse me. If Sam was or they're trying to have an escape plan. It's real simple. You keep Sam in that room and you lock the door and you call the police.
Yeah.
Real simple. And that did not happen. I don't care who was in the lobby. I don't care if it was Jennifer. I don't care if it was Brooklyn. I don't care, or Precious, whatever their names are. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They're all the
So
same.
you lock the door and you call the police.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're all involved. They all need to be held accountable. And everyone else that's outside of the 7 that knew about it, again, Patty's Lodge,
Mm-hmm.
be responsible. They all have a hand in it. Somebody could have said something. Ultimately, though, as I think we all will agree, justice for Sam.
Justice for
Justice
Sam.
for Sam.
Before we wrap everything up, I just want to take the time to say thank you for coming into our studio.
No,
Thank
thank
you
in
you
person.
for having us.
No, it's an honor, honestly. I know that, driving here, let alone coming here, is not easy. And especially with it all stirring up all the emotions and all the thoughts and all the memories. Just, again, like I said, I know that you guys live in Minnesota, but your family, and I don't care if you're over there or here, if you need anything, reach out. So,
We will.
when you're back in town for the trials and all that, seriously, like I'd like to get together again. We don't even have to do an episode. We could just hang out, have a couple drinks at the bar, safely, responsibly, and just hopefully we can sit here and celebrate. That's what I'd like to see.
And I apologize. I had to keep going in and out of the show, but
No, you're fine. As a parent, I understand.
First.
I get it. Toddlers will be toddling.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's true. It's true.
She had a busy week this week, so she
Yeah.
ain't used to all this moving around and meeting all these people.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Especially I'm sure, like you said, before, I think during the break that, people recognize you, the shirts and all that, and wanted to take pictures. And, it really does go to show you, though, that there are people here in New York State, and a lot of them, that support you.
Yeah, we have more support than non.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
There's always a couple here and there that has something smart to say.
Yeah, you're going to get that. And honestly, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, with all that, just ignore it because you have way more supporters. You have way more people out there that care, us being included. So, I know that sometimes it can get lost in the noise, but just know that regardless of all those trolls on the internet, they're not worth it.
They're really not.
Ass hats.
Ass
Yeah.
hats.
Ass hats.
That's all they are. Bunch of ass hats.
Yep.
For everyone that's listening and watching to this episode, thank you for taking the time to hear the Nordquist story. Us talk about Sam. This episode was really about the human aspect of it, who Sam was as a human being, and what you have all gone through. A lot of things get lost with the internet drama. I think a lot of people enjoy the internet drama. I think it's there's some dopamine that people get from this stuff, and they don't have all the problems that you have. They don't experience the grief. They don't experience the loss. And I think a lot of people get lost in that and forget that they're dealing with real people in real life. And I hope that listening and watching this episode brings that real life aspect back to it, as it should be. Because unfortunately, with everything that happened, people want to chase clout. They want to put their 2 cents in, and they go back to their life. Status quo. They go back to their normal life that they live. Everything's the same as it was for them. But for you, it's a lifelong change.
We appreciate you from day one to now and for time to come.
Yes.
That you're a real supporter, and we know it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm honored to have you here, and, I'm glad that we were able to do this. I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do to ask to come on because I don't know, boundaries and all that. I'm big on respect. I've always been big on respect, but since it happened, I'm honored to have you here. This is 100% what I think needed to happen. And I think that it gives you the outlet to be able to express yourself in a raw, real way.
Yeah, it helps. I'm glad I didn't cry on camera.
It's okay. Hey, I've had people in episodes before, and it's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to show that side, honestly. And as somebody who's, not the most emotional person in the world, but, obviously I have emotions. But I think ever since I had my son, that's kind of where that comes more into play, especially when it has something to do with kids. And, like going back to what I was saying about telling your child that someone's not coming back, that's going to be a horrible experience to have to break that news again. And just it's also part of that real life experience that people should really think about.
Yeah, it was probably the worst thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah. But through it all, just know that you have all of us out there that support and love you, and you're more than welcome to come over again when you're in town, obviously. And of course, no, thank you. And for everybody out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell. That helps us not only grow the show, but it helps you understand that we're going to be live and upload new episodes like this one. So Facebook isn't the kindest to us. The algorithms like to hide us. So, hopefully when I post this, people see it, and hopefully they understand that, this episode exists and it needed to exist. So share, like, follow, do all that stuff, but most importantly, share, especially this episode. I think it's important.
Thank you.
Thank you, and justice for Sam.
Justice for Sam.
Justice for Sam.
Good night, everybody.
Well, there goes the neighborhood. It's a good thing no one got seriously hurt.
Oh my God!
Whoops, spoke too soon. Don't get too wrecked. See you on the next one.
The M-Balm Effect.